Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, per usual, I don't typically have a plan ahead of time. I kind of get the idea of what I want to talk about during the day, or maybe a couple of hours, or I sit down and journal as to what my topic is going to be about today. And it is 1,000% this because it keeps coming up. And so we're going to talk about trusting the process. Yeah. This is probably the hardest thing for us. I know it can sometimes be the hardest thing for me, but I want to just give you kind of a scenario of what this looks like. So if you are familiar with manifestation in any way, shape, or form, you know that we do it all the time, consciously and unconsciously, or subconsciously, rather. And so oftentimes what we're manifesting is not something that we are necessarily aware of. But we are amazing creators. So we're, again, not going to go down that rabbit hole, but manifestation, we want to pay attention to that. So when it comes to this, I am brought to this topic because my oldest daughter got her first job. She's working at a barn, shoveling horse poop. It's great. I love it for her. And so she's getting paychecks. And she saved up her money because she wanted to get a new soccer jersey. It was a custom soccer jersey that she ordered. She was so excited for it, right? So she places the order, doesn't read all of the fine print, places the order, and then is waiting anxiously for the package to arrive, right? And so Monday rolls around and she still hasn't had it. And she ordered it Tuesday of last week, right? So Monday rolls around, she still hadn't gotten it. So she says, Mom, I don't understand, why hasn't it shown up yet? And I said, well, did you get an email with a shipping notification? Oh, I don't know. Let me look. And so she first pulls up the initial email and it says, we thank you for your order. It will ship out in 3 to 5 business days. I said, okay, what day did you order it? She says Tuesday. I said, okay. So technically Monday would have been 3, maybe 4 business days, right? I said, so it may not have shipped yet. She's like, oh, but I really wanted it ahead of time. I said, I know you're anxious to get it, but it's gonna come. You've ordered it, right? And so then she's looking at her email. She said, I got a shipping notification. It just came through. It's been shipped today. I said, okay, does it give you an arrival time? Yeah. It's supposed to be here on whatever, Wednesday, right? So she's tracking, she's got the little FedEx tracking number and she's tracking the number. And FedEx says it's going to be here between 11 and 3 today, right? And we all know that never actually happens, right? Like, we think it's going to be here between 11 and 3 and it's like 8 a.m. or like 10 p.m., right? Like, that's a big window. There's a lot of things that can happen in that meantime, right? But what's interesting is she went to the door probably 700 times today. Like, she was hearing phantom knocks on the door and she was constantly checking to see if the package had been dropped off and like checking in to see if it was there. And I had gone out and ran some errands and I came back and I said, what are you doing? My doorbell notification was going off crazy. What are you doing? Well, I was checking the mail to see if my package came. I said, it was shipped FedEx. It's not going to go in the mailbox, probably. It's going to come to the door. Well, it's not here yet, Mom. Why isn't it here yet? And I said, you need to relax. It's on its way. You've ordered it. You'll be okay. It'll get here when it gets here, and it's going to be great when it gets here. And as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, this is what we do when we are manifesting something. We check in and we micromanage. We're like, oh, wait a second, where's the tracking number? Do I have the tracking number? Why don't I have a tracking number? I started to manifest this thing the other day. Now I don't think it's gonna come. And we dig all these little seeds of doubt and we dig up the little seed that we planted, right? Instead of going, okay, I've asked for this thing. Now I've got to do my part, trust that it's going to come through, and let God, and if you use universe, perfect, right? Like, let the divine power do its job. But we struggle with that because we live in a world of Amazon Prime, where you can literally watch the package as it arrives, right? Back in the day, when I was a kid, you got things through snail mail. And if you ordered it, you're like, it might be here in 2 weeks. Don't really know, but I've called the catalog and I've ordered it and they said it was shipped. So I hope it comes, right? And it was very much this process of trusting. You were like, I called the catalog. I don't know. It might be here on Tuesday. It might be here on Saturday. But when it gets here, I'm going to be excited about it. And that's kind of how we have to sit back when we're working with the divine power to create the life that we want. You've got to trust that you're going to get what you asked for, but you've got to do your part too. And your part is more than just sitting around and trusting, right? Like, this is not a genie in the lamp kind of a situation where you rub the lamp and you ask the genie for 3 wishes and you get whatever you want. It's also not Santa Claus. Okay? It takes you doing your part to get there. So for me, when I'm asking for something, right? Like, if it's calling in a new client, or, what I'm trying to think, or a new house, or a dog, or like a good friend, right? Like, there are a number of things, and I made me laugh. I saw this TikTok where, the total sidebar, I saw this TikTok where this husband was like venting, but he was venting while he was talking, and he was like, my wife and I, we have a really great relationship. He's like, and I really thought it was like fate that we came together, and then she told me that she manifested me. And he like went off this tangent about manifestation. It was just really funny. Total sidebar. Anyways, so when it comes to something that I'm asking for, right? Like, it could be better health. It could be better sleep, right? Like, it doesn't have to be about my business. It could be a better relationship with my kids, or with a family member, right? Like, whatever it is that I'm working towards, that I'm focused on, right? There's my part, and then there's got to be space for, one of my mentors said, space for magic, right? Like, space for divine intervention on some kind of a level, right? Like, we don't have to do it all. We don't have to micromanage and control all of the things. It can actually happen much faster if we just do our part and don't micromanage, right? So like, my daughter was getting super anxious. She wanted to micromanage FedEx. She wanted to call them. She was checking the website obsessively to be like, where is my package? Where is it? When is it coming? And this is what we do. Where we go, okay, I am calling in a new client, let's say, or I'm manifesting a 10K month, and you are 10 days into the month, and you're like, yes, this is going to be a 10K month. I can still feel it, right? It still feels good and juicy and like really luxurious, right? Like, you're still really hopeful. And then it's like the 20th of the month, and you're like, I haven't manifested anything yet. Maybe it's not coming. And it's our staying power that diminishes, that then gives mixed signals, that actually blocks us and creates resistance to the thing that we're actually receiving. So prime example, right? When I first started my business, it was legitimately the coolest thing, right? Like, I still remember the feelings, all the feels, and it was like, holy shit, this stuff works, right? So I had just hired a new mentor, and it was January. And I was like, okay, this is my business. This is my plan A, right? And my business was the Overjoyed Mom at the time. And I was like, this is my plan A. This is what I got to do. And I told my husband what the investment was for this mentor. And he about shit his pants. He was like, you know, like you can't spend that much money on a coach. Like you do, no. And I was like, but my business is going to pay for it. I said, give me 6 months. If I can't do it in 6 months, I'll tap out. Like that'll be it. Give me 6 months with this mentor. And he was like, okay, right? He's like, but your business has to pay for this. This isn't going to come out of like our regular budget. Your business has to pay for this. Yep, I got it. So plan A, my business is paying for this, right? And so I was making the payment to my coach on January 15th. And that money had to come from my business. Okay. And I was like, all right, I'm taking inspired action. This is the thing. This is what I've decided. The money is going to come from my business, right? So I'm showing up every day from January 1st, showing up, right? January 14th rolls around. I still haven't received a single client. I don't know. I have no idea where this money is going to come from for my mentor. No clue. But I was like, you know what? No, this is the thing. And I dug my heels in and I was like, no, this is the thing. I'm not going to panic. This is what's happening. And it was about an hour after I gave myself that pep talk and said, nope, this is happening. This is the thing, that I got a message from someone I had never spoken to asking to work with me. How much would it cost? And I said, it's going to cost, $1,500 for 3 months, right? Like whatever it is, that was my price at the time. And she said, okay, send me the link. And I sent her the link and the money came through that afternoon. I was like, holy crap, wow. Like that was a thing, right? Like I didn't know how it was going to happen. I had no clue how it was going to happen. Zero clue. But I trusted that it was going to come through. And I did my part. And it came through and it was the coolest thing. And it was just amazing to see it just progress and multiply and do all of these things. And it's like, I just get so excited talking about it because it was like, wow. Right? Like 2 weeks worth of me saying, this is the thing. And it became the thing. And then it just snowballed. And it was the coolest thing. Right? And so when I am working towards something, when I decide that I want something, right, I will figure out, okay, what's my part? And then if I find myself starting to spiral, one, I got to catch myself. Right? Like, oh my God, where's the money going to come from? Right? Like I caught myself and was like, no, slow our roll. It's going to come. I know it's going to come. I don't know how it's going to come, but I know it's going to come. And I had to settle back into that trust. And it was the coolest thing to be able to walk myself through that. And that's what it is, right? Like you've got to trust long enough for it to show up. So my daughter, after she had like her little anxiety fit this afternoon that I hadn't shown up by 3 o'clock, I said, relax, it's going to show up. It's going to be here. And she sat back, she relaxed, she did a bunch of other stuff. And then it showed up at the door and she didn't even know it was here. And I brought it to her. It was so fun, right? And it was just a great reminder that this is life, right? Like the thing that you ask for is available to you. You've just got to trust that it's coming. You got to keep yourself trusting that it's coming and not micromanaging the things. Micromanaging the things just causes more stress and more resistance. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I am going to sign off here and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. If you are interested in working with me, I am accepting private clients right now. Again, high performance mentor. So my goal is to get you to the next level. Whatever that looks like, we can skip a couple levels if you want, but it's about leaning in and trusting and actually doing less, actually doing less and getting more tuning back into yourself and your intuition, deciding what is appropriate for you, right? And leaning into that trust. You don't have to micromanage to get the thing that you want. To create the life you want doesn't have to be micromanaged. It can be done quite beautifully. And it's about finding your formula for success there. So if you feel like you're struggling with getting to the next level, or maybe you're in a great space, but you're like, you know what, I just want the next thing. I'm just ready for the next level. Let's have a conversation. I'd love to work with you. I work with moms, I work with men, I work with women, I work with CEOs, I work with stay-at-home moms. Like, there's a spectrum. A lot of people that I work with, because it is about finding that balance for you and really honing into what it is that you want so that you can create the life and business that you desire with fun and joy and ease, right? So if that's something that you're interested in, you can check out stephaniesnyderphd.com. I have some testimonials from some of my clients on there as well. And if you did enjoy this podcast episode, I would love if you would like, comment, or share it on Instagram, Stephanie Snyder, PhD on Instagram. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye, love.